Hello everyone. Today I am talking to you about marbles. I don't know if you have ever played with marbles or own any marbles or have even seen any marbles. We have a jar here of marbles. And marbles are small round glass balls used by children for many, many centuries to play a game called marbles. Okay. There are many different ways to play the game of marbles. A lot of times you can draw a circle on the ground, usually in dirt on a nice level place, and you put marbles in the middle. And then you have another marble that's called a shooter. It's bigger than the others, and you flick it with your finger, your thumb, to try and knock marbles either into a depression in the middle of the circle, or you try to knock them out. So there are lots of different ways to play, and you don't have to keep the marbles that you win. You can share, give them back to the owner. That's the game of marbles. Marbles and the game of marbles has been around. Nobody even knows who started it or how long it's really been around. They have found marbles from ancient Egypt ruins, from Pompeii, from Roman times. They know that Native Americans, back when Europeans first came to this country, were already playing marble games. So nobody really knows where they came from, who started it, who thought it up. It's really interesting. So originally, marbles were made by hand from stone or something called ivory, which is tusk of an animal that has ivory on them. They're also made from clay or pottery, ceramic or porcelain. So they were polished and round and smooth so they would roll. Eventually, marbles were made from glass, and a long tube of glass was stretched out and pieces were snipped off with special glass cutting scissors. Glass marbles were first mass produced, which means they weren't just made in small amounts, but for large amounts to be sold, back in 1915 in Akron, Ohio. Now, 90% of the marbles that we can find in the store are made in Mexico. So that's pretty interesting. So today I wanted to share with you some marbles that I have collected over the years. I love marbles. Most of these are mine. Some of them I've borrowed to show you the different ones. So let's talk about some of the different types of marbles. So when I was talking about the game of marbles, the ones that you put in the circle to try to knock out or put into a depression like this, you would call those mibs or ducks. And that's what most of these are. These are all kind of the same, similar size. There's some over here. So when I said they used shooters to knock them out, these are shooters. Do you see how they're much bigger than the others? And you would hold the marble in your hand kind of like this, and you would flick it with your thumb and try to hit the marbles. So we have the mibs or ducks, we have shooters, and then we have a couple of these really big ones. These are huge. They're wonderfully large. And these were called grandfathers because they were the biggest ones. So those are pretty neat. I wanted to share with you some of the different types of marbles. let's see. So these ones that are a solid clear glass color. Oh, there you go. Now you can see it. Those are called clearies because they're clear. Some of the clearies were made by glass makers, and they were blown glass. So the glass maker would blow into the glass and make the balls, and they have bubbles inside. I don't know if I can move this out. There are bubbles in the middle of this one, which makes me think that it was probably a blown glass one. So it's pretty old. Some of these I dug up in the yard of the house I grew up in. So I said they were made from stone sometimes. This one is made from glass, but it's made to look like stone. And it's called an aggie because it used to be made from a stone called agate. So this one is glass, but it's made to look like it's made from stone. So that's an aggie. You have some that look all iridescent. And slippery. They're called oilies because they look oily. They're pretty cool. Then you have steelies. These ones are made from metal. Yep, that's a steely. We have, don't mind my cuckoo clock. So we have the clearies. We have the shooters and the grandfathers. These ones, well, let's move this grandfather out of the way. These ones that are a white color but have one little splash of red, those are called oxbloods. So you have oxbloods. They have a splash of red. There you go. Funny enough, even these blue ones, just because they're white with one color on them, they'd be called oxbloods too. It's pretty neat. Yep. What else do we have? We have these. They're called aids, like lemonade and limeade. That's when they were white and swirled with one color. So this would be probably a limeade. And some others might be orangeade. Yep. These are cat's eyes because they have a couple of colors right in the middle. Looks kind of like a cat eye. Okay. This is also, because it's blue and white, they would call this a toothpaste marble. It kind of does look like toothpaste on the inside. But you could even have this orange and yellow one and have it be called toothpaste, because it's striped like toothpaste. Then over here, these ones that are clear with one color swirled through are called swirlies. I think you can understand why they'd be called swirlies. And then we have these ones. I like these. You'd think they were cat's eyes, but they have 3 colors. So you can see there's a red and a white and a green. And there are 6 veins. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ridges. They're called beach ball because they kind of look like a beach ball on the inside. So that's pretty neat. What else do we have? We have these ones that are one solid color, and they're just called opaques because they're one solid color. I wanted to show you I have one little one that is smaller than the others. Let me compare it. See how much smaller it is? A little bit smaller than all the others. That little white one we'd call a peewee because it's teeny. So there's all kinds of different ones. And then you have some of them, like these shooters here, that are more modern marbles. They're not all that old. These are probably, I don't know, 8 or 10 years old. And that's what's in here. They're not all that old. And that's okay, because marbles are fun to play with. Maybe you can try playing with some marbles sometime. I have a picture here of one that I made. There are some really old ones. They were made in Germany. They were called German sulfides. And it was really a clear marble. It's shown like my white paper. And inside there would be a figure, a picture. But it would be like a three-dimensional little picture. Sometimes this is a duck. It could be a duck or a flower or a dog or a cat or a truck, a horse, a little pig. This is my example of a sulfide marble because they're rare. I thought you'd find that interesting. So maybe sometime you could try your hand at playing marbles. I hope you'll think about trying that sometime. Thanks for visiting.